Yo, what it do, y'all? We back at it again, and we live today, man. We fresh out this summer, coming into the fall, but we dropping this thing, and we in the Hush Boutique out here in Inglewood, New Jersey, and I'm sitting next to a very special brother that I had the opportunity to really just kind of bump into.
Yeah.
And he was creating content. And when he created that content, it captured me for that moment in time for me to dig deeper and to get the chance to know him. And just that one piece of content landed me 2 great interviews. And now I'm sitting with my man right here, and I said it before and I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna call him my sensei because I just admire what he does, man. My man Tim.
Peace, brother.
Welcome to the Round Table, King.
Glad to be here, man. It's been a little journey to get here, right? Some rescheduling, but you know, everything happens.
All about God's timing.
Everything happens in God's time.
All
man.
about God's timing.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, I want to say thank you. And I say thank you for just doing what you're doing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know, some people don't understand just small things count to people that's paying attention from a distance. I had no clue, no really idea of who you were or what you were about, but that one piece of content that you posted with my man Malcolm,
yeah,
yo, it captivated me to do homework on Malcolm, to do homework on you. And here I am, like I said before in the beginning, sitting next to you. That's a blessing, bro. And I just want to say thank you for just keep doing what you're doing, because I ain't gonna lie, man, it's inspiring me to just keep going.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, and we just gonna get right to it. Where did it all start from Tim?
Man, well, first of all, thank you for those kind words. Thank you for inviting me onto your platform, because this is a part of you and what you do, right? So I'm sure it means something special to you, and you're not gonna just have anybody on here. So for you to reach out and want to spend some time with me, I appreciate that.
No problem, King. It was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
I mean, all you could have did was tell me no, and I'm gonna go on to the next.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm blessed, you know what I mean? It worked out, man.
Yeah.
But Tim, man, like, I don't really even know Tim.
Right. Tim just started to really know Tim. You know? So, I mean, I grew up probably just like most people, you know, just curious about life.
Where you from, though?
I was born in Paterson, New Jersey.
Okay.
But my parents, they raised me in Lincoln Park, which is near Wayne.
All right.
My parents did a good job at keeping me connected to culture.
Right.
Because without that, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. Lincoln Park, we're probably one of 3 black families in the town. But my parents made it a point to split my time between getting schooled over there, doing activities over there, and learning more about who I am and being connected to my people by keeping me in Paterson, whether it was church, whether it's getting my hair cut, whether it's NAACP meetings, whatever it was, hanging out with my cousins, hanging out with friends from church. They made sure that I not only saw the side I was living in Lincoln Park, but understanding my roots and my culture, and frequent trips to South Carolina. That's where 95% of my family was, man.
Right. Same here.
Every time they got a chance, whether it was holidays, whole summers, I was in South Carolina. So peace out to South Carolina.
Peace out to South. My pops is out there right now, so definitely understand the history of South Carolina.
Absolutely.
Because I've taken a lot of road trips.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the only way to do it, man.
That's how it was back in that era.
I still do it.
No flying.
I still do that.
Mom's packed up the cooler, and we got the trunk ready, and Dad got ready to ride.
Yeah.
So that's crazy because I'm familiar with Lincoln Park.
Okay.
So when you said Lincoln Park and you said, I understand. So you definitely had the blessing. It was like, the balance.
Yeah, and it became my superpower too.
It did.
Yeah, because
it did.
I was able to kind of understand like what my friends were doing, what they were listening to, what they were watching. But then I also understood like when I go to Paterson, what we were watching, right? And it took a minute. I have an older brother, and I remember vividly, me playing around, like having some fun over at my friend's house down the street, and they're listening to certain type of music, more like rock and roll, metal type stuff, right? But I didn't really understand it. And this is like young. It still didn't really hit me. I came home one day and I'm just playing around. I turn on the radio and rock and roll was on the radio. And my brother, who's like 9 years older than me, he was like, yo, what are you listening to? And he turned the radio, I believe it was to 98.7. And when I heard, and I can't remember, it was 10% This came on.
Wow.
And that joint just went through my veins, bro. Like some dope shot up in my veins.
So you could say that's the time you kind of felt it, you felt it.
That's what time I felt it, man. That's the time I felt it, and hip hop never left me since then. It's become between the fashion, the music, the breaking, DJing, rapping, all of that stuff kind of like just was born from that moment.
And graffiti as well.
And graffiti.
That's the tag era.
Yeah.
We were all tagging. We all had our tag names. You know what I'm saying?
Dizzy T.
I ain't, man, I was D-Nice. I was Polo at one point.
Yeah.
But when you think about that era and you think about that time, you smile about it because it was a good moment.
Yeah.
And it takes you back to the essence of life was a little bit more simpler then. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now as we progress into this new millennium, new age, as you growing, you Linkin Park. Life is taking you in different directions. I already know you went to school. I know you went to college. Mm-hmm. How was that experience leaving home for you, transitioning, leaving home?
That was a very interesting experience because all through my adolescence, I was involved. Like if I wasn't playing basketball, I was playing football. If I wasn't playing football, I was playing baseball. If I wasn't playing baseball, I was running track across country. And in between all that, I'm on the usher board at church. I'm on the choir at church, right? I'm doing so many different things. And then my own passions, I'm dancing any time that I got a chance to dance. I was rapping with my rap group whenever I had a chance to rap. I was doing so many things that I was so involved that I didn't have a chance or an opportunity to really do anything extracurricular outside of that. Like I have friends that they were doing certain things on the weekend, getting drunk, getting high, all that type of stuff. I didn't experience any of that because I was so busy, right? But when I went to college, I first started out at University of Hartford in Connecticut.
Okay.
Music major, Hart School of Music. That was my first dose of freedom. And boy, did I take advantage of that freedom, man.
That was my next question. I mean, it's your peers around you.
Yeah, man. Listen.
How was that taste? Because you said the hip hop ran through your veins.
Oh, man.
So now you got a taste of that.
Yeah, I got a whole big taste of that because now fast. So now I could truly explore what that culture to me really felt like. Anytime I got an opportunity to go to shows, I was at shows. Indulging in many things, right? And I would say for a point, lost two within that. Because those things that brought me joy during that period of time, just sports and all that type of stuff was now gone, right? Like I had hoop dreams, like I think a lot of other people had hoop dreams.
I had hoop dreams,
right?
No, it's funny that you say that, and I'm gonna let you get back to that. You really just told my whole life, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and finish.
So once those hoop dreams are done, and now you're kind of just trying to concentrate on other things
trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure it out. And luckily, I had the music to try and help me figure it out. But still, dose of freedom. I wasn't all the way focused on the right things. You know what I mean? And what brought me back, I think, was the rejuvenation of the love and the ability to now focus on music. So, second year of college, I decided I'm gonna leave, and I wanted to pursue, dancing, music, whatever it was, in the arts. And I got an opportunity to go on Teen Summit. So I was a Teen Summit dancer for 3 years. I transferred to HBCU, Delaware State University, where I graduated from. And I would travel back and forth between Delaware and DC, because at the time, Teen Summit, BET was filmed in DC.
Facts.
So I would travel back and forth between rehearsals and live tapings on Saturdays, and doing that. And that was my introduction into entertainment.
Right.
And
how old was you when that took place?
I was I started there at 19, I think 20 at Teen Summit. Yeah, and finished off my senior year, and I was 23. Around 23. Yeah.
Now, how did your parents take the fact that you decided to switch up a little bit?
My parents, I think at that time, were kind of used to me. Me and my brother, my older brother, were kind of different. My brother was a real like big football player, DePaul High School, running back, like crushing it. And I kind of just was a basketball player and really into music. Well, my brother wasn't really into music. So I think after a while they started to understand where my passions were. And they started to get used to it, especially when I got on Teen Summit. They were like, okay, this is no longer just a fluke or a thing. He's trying to work towards something.
How'd you get the Teen Summit situation?
Audition. So I had to send in a VHS tape of me dancing.
And you was at school at the time when this took place?
Yeah, I was home on break. So and I did the tape while I was home, and mailed it off. And this during summer break, and they called me in for a live audition. So I took off from work because I was working a summer job. Went down there, killed it. And at the time, Maya left Teen Summit, so it was like backfilling one of her positions. So yeah, I got the call that I got it, and it was like off to the races. And networking in my blood is kind of just like in my blood. Like when I got there, I was trying to meet people, trying to meet so many people, and luckily, just a chance meeting one day of a taping with Mos Def,
right?
Yassine Bey. I say, hey, I want to get down with Raucus. How do I get down with Raucus?
And you fit that brand.
Right, yeah, and I love that brand, right? And, he introduced me to one of the marketing guys, headquarters, and they brought me on as like a college rep. So they would send me merchandise like once a month, big boxes. I would just go around campus and give out CDs, T-shirts. If we went anywhere like King's Dominion, I would just open it up.
You was the backpack kid.
I was the backpack kid, for real.
Wow, that's crazy because
and that's where BRL comes from, by the way. So my Beats, Rhymes, and Life, Tribe Called Quest, that's where I get.
That was, I feel like when you talk about it, I see the smile on your face because it takes you back to a place in time. Yeah. And as I'm sitting here listening to it, I know that place, I know that time. I remember that era, that moment, that feeling.
Yeah.
And when you said, networking's in your blood, it is because from Lincoln Park to Patterson, that's a gap.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, more than just space, it's cultural, right?
It's
everything. There's
I'm
a lot
in
of
Lincoln
gaps.
Park on a daily basis, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
My job's up there in Wallington.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Fairfield.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So West Caldwell area, all back there. I know, so it's like for you to be able to adapt to that and understand it and take it with you and not use it against you, because some of us, I ain't from here. They start getting you kept it, because you knew who you was. But let me ask you something. You said something about getting lost in the culture for a minute. You said you got so much involved at one point when you was up in Connecticut that you got a little lost.
Yeah, because the culture is incredible. The hip hop culture is nothing like it. It's so powerful. It moves the world. But just like anything else in life, man, there's a lot of negative things that come along with it. If you choose to indulge too much in certain things, it can get you lost and help you lose your focus in life. So these things happen to people every day, right?
But how many people are really willing to admit it? Because when you said it, it touched me because I felt that because I got lost in the culture at one point. So I understand what you're talking about. We get consumed, like we get wrapped up. It's like, ho. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it was, I respect the fact that you were even man up to tell us that, because a lot of us won't really say that. Like, at one point I was in the culture, really not even understanding what I was doing in the culture. Yeah. But just happy to be a part of it, man. Yeah. So we in Teen Summit, you're running around, you're networking, you're in school. How is all this going on? Because now you're in school, you're in Teen Summit, you're constantly networking. You're running around with Raucus. Education.
Yeah, education. hence the reason why I was still in school at 23. No, you know what I'm saying? Like I was doing a bunch of things, and I got to a point where I was like, okay, I got to focus. I got to get out of school. There's a whole other world out here waiting for me. I graduated. And I had a choice.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yep, thank you. And I had a choice. I was like, okay, I could either go maybe to California and pursue this dance, entertainment thing a little bit more, or I could go back home and jump into corporate America, because at the time my major was business administration.
Okay.
I had no idea what I was going to do with it, but it was business administration. So I decided to go back home, got into corporate America, trying years, especially in the beginning, because I don't think I was 100% ready. Like everything in life, like sometimes you take these jumps into these careers or endeavors and you don't 100% know what it's all about, but you know, you find your way through. And you know, me coming out of college, I had locks, just a mindset of being artistic and loving music and loving like anything in the entertainment culture, and then getting thrown into corporate America, which is a little bit more white collar, buttoned up, especially at the time.
Yes.
Buttoned up. Structured.
Mannerism.
Yep. No, you can't have no personality. If it's a personality, it better be the personality of your CEO or your president. And you know, I just didn't really fit in well. And plus there wasn't a lot of diversity
At that time. Right.
So, you know, I felt miserable, I felt trapped, and I think I didn't really perform because I didn't feel comfortable. And it wasn't a passion. But I will say, like, during those years, especially the early years, you learn a lot. You learn structure. You learn how to talk to people in a professional way, right? Quote unquote professional way. You learn how to overcome obstacles, multitask. You learn how to multitask. So there was a lot of great things that I learned from those earlier years that helped me out now as far as structure. But, you know, I progressed, I failed, get fired, go to other jobs, you know what I'm saying, underperform. But, you know, I think later on in life, I found that perfect blend between corporate and my passions, and which I feel like I'm living in and I'm thriving in right now.
That's, you know what? I really see that, and I sense that. I got a question for you. Did you, in that beginning stage, did you understand your purpose?
No, I just knew what I woke up every morning thinking about. And the things that I thought about in the morning was always related to music, to entertainment.
So you feel like you was trapped for a moment.
And advertising too.
Okay.
Like I always was gravitated to like TV commercials for some reason. Like, you know how like when they first really got introduced into the Super Bowl and
right.
You were wondering, like some people just laughing, like, oh, that's a cool commercial. I was always wondering, like, why did they partner with that person? Like, why did they choose Michael Jackson to represent Pepsi? Why did they, you know, choose OJ to be in this Hertz commercial, like,
right.
or Avis commercial, whatever it was? Like, I was always like intrigued by the why behind the creation and what the brand was trying to do to attract the audience. So it was kind of weird, and now that I'm doing what I do now, it kind of makes sense why I was always thinking about these things. Yeah, and I think everybody looks at themselves and thinks of themselves as being different, but I always thought of myself as I'm kind of different than a lot of people in the rooms that I'm in. Like I never felt 100% comfortable in any particular room, not because I felt like I didn't believe there. You know, some rooms are like that. Like you like, how did I get in here?
Right.
But it was more about, wow, like why don't I feel comfortable in here? Wow. Like I don't, not that I'm too big for this room at all. It's just like, it feels like everybody thinks almost somewhat the same in this room. But in my mind, I'm like, am I just dumb? Like, am I not getting
questioning yourself?
Right. Am I not getting it? I'm looking at this totally different. Like, but you're afraid sometimes to even admit it because people are going to look at you like, you don't get it. What's it not, like, you don't understand this?
Right.
Where I do understand it, but I don't understand sometimes the reasoning behind it.
Yo, through the trials and tribulations comes success.
Yeah.
You at that point in your life, let's go into you're really not in your passion at the moment. You're figuring out yourself. Like you said, you failed, got fired. Once you got fired, where was the mind state after that though? Like what was the next move? Because I feel like you always thinking, me personally, my opinion of you from what I've seen, I feel like you are always 2 weeks ahead.
Yeah, no.
Maybe a month, maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
But you always like, okay, yeah, this ain't work, but I always got like this small outlet open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was just having a conversation with somebody the other day, talking about like my plans for the future. And I started off by saying I don't know what my plans are for the future. I'm really truly at this point living in the moment and trying to build the best part of me and my career as I can. And I let everything else fall into place because like I said, I've been through a bunch of stuff professionally. So nothing surprises me.
Right.
So I'm not going to waste the energy kind of on the next steps. However, what I do now, I'm doing it in a way to where I can better position myself for next steps. If that makes sense, without me having to say too much.
Nah.
But yeah,
I
man.
get it.
Yeah, but it's I whenever I got like fired or in my job was in jeopardy for whatever reason, I stress it? I didn't really stress it because I think my superpower sometimes is living in kind of like ignorant bliss a little bit. Like I try to block out as much noise as possible because if I listen to that noise, it's going to stop me from being who I am. And I don't want to conform too much. I just want to be able to walk into a room, present myself of who I am as much as I can, as a genuine person. Authenticity's kind of been my thing for like the last probably 3-4 years. Like just really
That's
trying
a whole nother topic.
Yeah, just trying to be who I am and being comfortable in my own skin and not worrying about what people say as far as like, he talks like this. Did he just say this slang word? Why is he dressing like that? I try not to think about that and just be a good teammate, be a good leader, and to deliver the best products that I can to people, to the world.
Right. I feel like, you kind of had a jump start on that already, though.
Yeah.
It goes back, and I'm always probably going to say this again, it goes back to the Linkin Park situation.
Yeah.
Like that really is the pivotal moment in your, that's so, now your story,
It is.
that's crazy because that allowed you back, that was grooming you for today.
Yeah.
And people sometimes don't understand that when they're growing up, but when you look back at it, I'm 51 this month, and it's like, I look back at certain things like, that shit was already being, man, it was just the garden, the seed, the plant, things were turning over. Now you starting to see it sprout, like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah. And there were some hurdles there too.
Of course.
Because, I'm telling you, like, there was therapy moments.
Of course.
As I got older, because what happened was you grew up in this area and, you have your friends and you look at it one way because you're used to it, right? And
or is it the comfortable way?
Comfortable way, right? And certain comments could have been made back then and you didn't think really of it until you get older and now you're more wise, you have a different thought pattern and somebody approaches you or says something to you in that same way, now that you're 30, 35 and you're thinking like, wait a minute, this is what happened to me back in the day, but I was just ignorant. I didn't have the knowledge to understand where these people were coming from.
Right.
So, it did cause some issues for me later on in life because now trust was an issue where I didn't have that issue growing up, right? But now that I'm older and the world is changing, I'm outside of the bubble of everybody knows me in that town, so they could have just been giving me grace.
Right.
To now you go into the real world and you see how some people really think of you. So it became a little bit of an issue, but even through that, you grow, right? You evolve, you get the therapy.
As you should.
As you should. You get those things and you start to trust again, right? And I'm at a point now where I trust, but I'm not surprised if something happens.
And that's funny that you say that because I've kind of always been like that.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, and you know what I mean? I've had those hurdles.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I think I put more trust in other situations that I shouldn't have put trust in. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that.
Too.
You know what I mean? Especially, growing up in the culture.
Yeah.
Like you said. You know what I mean? And the wonderful thing about, talking to you is that I can tell personally you can breathe a lot more easier because you look back and say, yo, look what I've accomplished and overcame. And I say that because I do that.
Yeah.
And your story is, I grew up in the church, bro. My parents went to church Sunday, Thursday. The people used to come over from Sunday to stay over for the night service. But I was the kid in the work van, in my parents' van. I listened to hip hop. Yeah. So I understand your story, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, well, how does Deacon David's son over here doing X, Y, Z? I'm in the rink. Y'all sleep.
Right.
I'm in high school. So all that thing, you know what I mean?
You're talking to Deacon Sumter. I was a deacon for like 4 years, and then, again, life, I felt like that really wasn't truly my calling, right? And that was a whole other thing, but,
But you kept your relationship, but your relationship, you know what? That relationship that you had back there, even though it wasn't all calling because I was in that same boat, I think my parents, as they grew into the body of Christ, they matured a little bit better than other parents.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you can go out.
Yeah.
The other kid, you know what I mean? And so that kind of gave me somewhat of word, y'all giving me the green light now?
Right.
Compared to, your parents let you listen to that?
Right.
I'm gonna sneak in the car and I'm gonna listen to that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you sneaking in the car? It's like, wait, I listen to this in my room. So, believe it or not, the grace of God has carried to both of us. You know what I mean? To where we at in a point where we can understand it. How's your relationship with Christ now, though? Being that you have that essence.
Yeah, it's actually really good.
I'm gonna say the same.
We know why? Because I feel like at some point in my life, I felt like limited.
Man.
I felt like going into service, all I saw was despair within the environment. Like I didn't see for a while the joy that is promised to us, right?
And that'll turn you away.
Right. And like I didn't see what I wanted to accomplish in thriving and doing certain things. And not thriving for money, but just doing the things that I feel like I was called to do. I wasn't feeling encouraged. And I know being a believer, you're supposed to give praise, right?
Right.
And you really shouldn't be thinking about what am I going to receive back, but at the time I was like, you know what? I still feel like I need to be encouraged. Right? And I wasn't getting that. And I think part of it was that I wasn't happy with myself. And, I stepped away out of the gathering, the church that I was currently at the time. And I think I took time to really find me through some struggles and stuff, but I found myself. Right. And over the last years, I can tell you, like, things have just been working. And things have been working to the point where some temptations that I still have shut the door right in my face over and over again. So do I feel the protection? Yeah, I feel the protection. I feel connected. I feel like not even when things get hard, I feel like I can just lean and trust in what he has. Trust what he has.
Trust again.
What he has for me. So yeah, it's a big part.
Yeah, it's a major part for me too as well, because I had a conversation with somebody the other day and I told him, I said, yo, you know what? He said, yo, how you feel today? I said, yo, I feel great. I woke up, I'm blessed. He's like, yo, that's dope. You always talk about you blessed. I said, yo, listen, man. What you fail to realize is we don't have to be here. Nope. It's by divine intervention. And I said, yo, we all got a story. Yeah. And I said, yo, my relationship with God, I put that before anything, because if I don't have a relationship with him, the way I have it, if I can have it with my friends, my lady, my kids, I said that needs to be the first relationship I have off the jump. Right. Because if I don't have that, I can't be those other things.
Yeah. And that's how I feel about not only God, but I feel about that with creativity and happiness. Like if I am not able to create and do things that inspire me and bring joy, my professional stuff is going to be jacked up. It's going to be messed up. because I'm not going to be in the headspace to deliver the proper stuff that I need to deliver. I need to be encouraged. I need stimulation, mental stimulation.
Still, at this point
At this point, I still need it.
Yo,
I see beauty in so many things that I think a lot of people don't see the beauty in.
And you know what? You posted that today with the laundry, with the cows.
Oh, yeah.
I paid attention, and I saw it. I knew what it was.
Yeah.
And I read it. And I was like, yo, my man is always, it's just always something. Yeah. And I admire that about you.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, a lot of people don't understand their purpose. A lot of people are still, like my father told me last week, mentally trapped.
Yeah.
And when you're mentally trapped, you try this, you try that, you try this, you try that. And some people say, well, I'm ambition. Yeah, but where's your ambition taking you?
Yeah.
You gotta have some type of drive. You know what I'm saying? And my pops is about 80 years old, and he FaceTimed me last week, and he said something to me that blew my head. He said, yo, I've been reading. He's a heavy reader.
Okay.
He said, I just learned some new stuff. I feel like a kid in a candy store. At 80.
That's dope.
Reading.
That's dope.
He said, yo, I don't even watch television no more. I'm just YouTubing and reading. He sends me so much literature to read. He's been doing that for decades. Yeah. But I'm realizing the space that he's in at peace and joy. And it goes back to what you said. You can't do what you want to do. Things are not right. But now you're in a space of being at peace. Yeah. And your peace brings that joy.
Yeah.
I got to ask you something, man. We live in a world of content created right now. And you're constantly giving us something. Do you ever have those moments where you feel like, is it worth all of this?
Yeah. This morning. This morning. And I think doubt sometimes creeps in. I think it's normal for it to creep in, right? Like we were just talking about, like growing up playing basketball. I felt like I was good, but then in my mind I wanted to be an NBA player. But then every so often something would creep in, like, are you tall enough to be an NBA player? Are you fast enough? Are you dedicated enough, right? And then you go back to practicing. So I think those things are always out there. Like in this world of social media and being able to create and put your works out there instantaneously like that, will that change? Yeah, it's gonna change. Everything in life changes. Started with an 8-track or record, LPs, 8-track, CDs, cassette tapes. Now you can't even find DVDs. Can't find a physical copy most of the time anymore, right? So everything is streaming, right? Everything is on your device. So things are meant to change. Who knows what content creation, social media, what that's going to be like in the next 2, 3, 4 years, especially with AI, right? Like we don't know what this is, but at the same time, this is an opportunity for us to create, to memorialize certain things, right? To put your works out to the world, to give opinions that you have on life, to encourage people, which I try to do now. Yeah, like, who knows what it's gonna be like. But while it's here, let's enjoy it and use the tool because it's powerful.
And I ask you that because you come from the era of before all this. Yeah. Raw. We come from the raw era.
Yeah. Which protected us too.
Right. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
Like we was, before we started shooting, we was talking about you standing next to Biggie at the ring.
Yeah.
Like that, those moments, those times to where we at, where now is everything is.
Yeah.
Even it's like we don't party the same. We don't enjoy life the same.
Right.
No more because now we caught up in social, but it's like, but we need the content.
Yeah.
So you being a creator, how do you balance, maybe I'm doing too much, and I'm asking for a personal level.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes I feel like, I'm doing too much, or then sometimes I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
That's the challenge that I deal with at times, because I come from an era of, hold up, how you doing? It takes you back, like, hold up, we wasn't doing that back then, but like somebody told me, we not back then no more though, champ.
Yeah, man. Like,
so how do we, how do you see that coming from that era?
So one of my things is that if I'm in a moment and I'm enjoying that moment, I don't want to create in that moment. So if I'm at a concert or something like that, if an artist comes out and I want to just like tape them real quick or whatever because it's my favorite song or whatever, I might do that, but I'm not creating any content. I'm not gonna be like, hey, I'm headed up. No, because I'm in the moment. That's just the old school part of me, right?
Thank you.
I'm in the moment.
Is that the too cool part of it? Because somebody say, yo, you too cool sometimes.
Nah, I don't think so. It's just that, you want to enjoy like if I'm here to see, Mos Def or, whoever the person who's performing, I want to see that person.
Right.
I don't want to see it through the screen. I want to see the person performing. And then, I don't, man, as far as like quantity, like if you should be doing more, like you can only tell yourself that. Okay. Because what happens is these platforms will give you best practices. They'll say, okay, on Facebook, you need to be posting 20 times a week. On IG, you need to be doing at least 2 videos a day. On TikTok, you need to do 3, whatever the case may be. But what that does, it takes it out of the authenticity out of it. Because now you're forcing.
Thank you.
Now, if it's in you to build that, then go ahead. If you have enough to talk about where you can bring all these topics and film all of this, and it's effortless, and it makes sense to your audience, go right ahead. I know me, and I know my audience. My audience does not want to hear from me more than a couple of times a week, right? And I feel like if I try to go over that amount, it will feel forced.
Okay.
And I don't want that. If I want to come off as being like authentic, and that's what I worked hard at. That's what I preach. Be yourself. Right. Even in the social space. Be yourself.
Yeah, and that's funny because I'm big on not trying to make it look all scripted and rehearsed. Yeah. Someone asked me about, note taking. I said, I take notes on who I'm going to kick it with. Yeah. I said, but when I'm going into the interview, I'm just going into it with the notes. I said, but I can kick it with anybody, so it makes it easier. I'm doing my homework before I get to you. Yeah. You know what I mean? I want to talk about Moon Day Mondays, man.
Okay.
Let's talk about how did that come about, man.
Oh, my God.
Let's talk about the Moon Days, man.
Man, Mondays have always been feared by a lot of people, right? It could just...
Why? Because of the weekend? We've been rocking and rolling on weekend, now it's back to the reality?
People, I think, by nature, hustle through the week to get to Friday. They can't wait for Friday night. They can't wait for Saturday. They come to Sunday, you start having anxiety.
Because
Monday's right there, right? And to me, if you're living in some sort of purpose, Monday should be a day that you're excited for because there's so much that you can get accomplished on it, right? Like I know on a Monday, I'm back to meetings that matter. I know it's back to trying to connect with a creator or a celebrity that I've been trying to connect to make something happen within the company. So I can get onto another project that I feel happy about, that I feel is purposeful. So it's
you turn the narrative around.
I turn the narrative around.
That's dope.
And the Moon Days really came from, there's a movie that was called Office Space back in the day. And it's kind of, I have a dry sense of humor when it comes to comedy. And there was a woman on there, she was like a secretary, and the person at the job, it's like an office setting type of a movie, almost like The Office.
Right.
A guy came in, and I guess he was a little cranky, and she was like, ooh, it looks like somebody has a case of the Moon Days. So I took that statement, the Moon Days, and just created the Moon Days, where I sit down on most Mondays and talk to people who have a good backstory, which everybody does, right? But I like layers to things, and I don't want to just interview somebody who just comes off as I'm an instant success, right? Now I want to talk to people who have a story like, hey, I had to go through this, I had to go through that. This is where I'm at now. This is why I'm thriving. I use social media as a platform to kind of amplify what I'm doing. But then have a story that is encouraging. To encourage you, like, yes, you're looking at this Monday as terrible, but look, you need this Monday to prepare yourself for the rest of the week to kill it, right? So don't think of it as like, oh my gosh, I got to get back to something I hate. And if that's the problem, if that's the case, then you need to change your mindset and find something that you're passionate about. And I'm a big I'm a big fan of that too. Like, just because you're doing this one thing doesn't mean you have to be doing this one thing your whole life. If you have dreams, a passion, take a step back from what you're doing. Pursue that dream. Life is short, man. Life is short.
I know. I've been in a short situation a few times.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that could be the gift and the curse, though. Because then we get on the ignorance. I'm going to live my best life. But what really is your best life? I remember somebody told me, hey, I'm going to live my best life. Yeah. And I think now that I'm older, what's your best? I'm like, what's your best life, champ?
Living your best life and living your purpose are two separate things.
Can you please say it again? Because I said
living your best life and living your purpose are two separate things. Because you could be in an island every week and think you're living your best life when you're kind of living an empty, shallow life. Like, if that's not helping anybody but yourself. Like, if you're living within your purpose, I feel like you're living your dream, whatever that is, but you're also helping people with that. You're helping people, you're encouraging people, you're helping people who are underserved, you're helping bring maybe light to certain situations through the stuff that you're doing. Like, yeah, it's there's more out here than, and I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, but because I'm only saying this because I've been there. There's more to life than sitting at somebody's bar, sitting at somebody's lounge, smoking hookah, and doing all that stuff.
It is.
There's so much more life out here, and don't get caught up in a lot of the stuff that's out here preaching that.
The illusion?
The illusion.
Because I feel like we live in a time of illusions.
Yeah.
And like, and when you and I, in our era, it wasn't really an illusion because you had to be there to see it.
Yeah. Right.
Or you missed it.
You missed it.
And
somebody told you.
Somebody told you that was there.
And you was like, you definitely had FOMO because you're like, oh man.
Exactly. Compared to, this shit is like kind of looking like rehearsed right now. Yeah. And it's getting played out and corny. Your moon days, man, is very diverse. Mm-hmm. You had I see you did the one with the Spanish brother who models for Malcolm with his mother. Yeah. I love that. Then I watched the young lady with the perfume.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then you had another brother that's the barber.
Oh yeah.
That he was running. You spoke to my guy, Yukon Ron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like when I saw all that, I was like, okay, I get it. I see the picture. I see where it's at. And now talking to you, you explaining really what it's about. It does inspire for Monday.
Yeah.
So it's dope because it's kind of like a twist. I'm gonna turn this shit around to inspire everybody to get ready for the week because really you think about it, nobody wants to do shit on Monday. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's very smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And part of what my whole other thing is like dropping gems, like golden gems. So gold is a big part. I was gonna get to that. Yeah, gold is a big part of that, man. Like my tag is at BRL_gold. Right, and then Golden Gems is kind of like my series of interviews, like what you're doing now, where I kind of talk a little bit deeper about like what made the person, different topics about their life, and trying to encapsulate that all into motivational speak. And then Mondays with the Moon Days is kind of doing more unscripted dialogue, just kicking it through IG footage. Live, right? Yeah, just having these conversations. But yeah, gold is it's a very malleable material, right? And what makes gold so malleable or so expensive and worth the value is the fact that it's malleable, meaning that it can bend, it can break, it can be pounded, it can be melted, but you can't be destroyed. So I looked at that as myself, like, I'm gold. I can be, it can be different versions of myself depending on age and where I'm at in life. But I just get shaped and pounded, and people try to maybe even tear me down and rip me apart. But I come back together and stay valuable because of that.
Man, it's funny how I'm just sitting here kicking it with you, and I'm learning so much about the reality of just looking on the other side of the avenue sometimes. And I didn't think about that with that Monday shit. That's just very inspirational, bro. To change the narrative of a Monday into something that people can look forward to and be driven to go do for the rest of your week. Yeah. Because we don't get driven sometimes about Tuesday and Wednesday because it's close to Friday.
Right.
So that shit is, man,
you like that, man.
You just constantly just keep coming up with things.
Yeah. It's a gift and a curse. It's
like you constantly cooking up, man. Do you ever get to the point where you feel like you put too much seasoning on the food?
I think, to be honest with you, I think I don't put enough seasoning on the food. I feel like there's so many more chambers that I haven't unlocked that is ridiculous. And the only reason I haven't is because it's not time. Like I feel like I found a pace in life.
Okay.
You know, and I used to run a lot, and I just started running again. But, you know, if you approach a long distance run, whether it's 10 miles or whatever the case may be, and you are sprinting at a 100-meter sprint pace, you're going to be burnt out.
Yeah, you're not going to make it.
So, and I'm at a point in life where I'm like, if God blesses me with years and years and years of living, you know, I think I'll get to a point where I'll be able to like turn people on their heads. Like, I think I'm at a good point now too with some things that I have lined up,
right? That
I'm working on professionally to change some things. But yeah, I just I'm trying to take it at a good pace, enjoy what I'm doing, enjoy the creative process, build the blocks at a time, and then I think the best version of me will be seen years from now.
And you know the dope part about it is I know that it is. But the fly part about it is that I respect your confidence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
and it's not braggadocious. Like
that's what I'm saying. You're not talking. I know when someone's talking reckless, talking crazy, you know, just to be talking. It was I know, because I'm in that space. Like I'm in, so I didn't receive that on that. I received it like, I know what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and my page, like I don't want, the one thing that I don't want people to think is on my page I'm trying to like just promote me and like be like flexing or whatever the case may be, right? Like I don't want that. I
don't take that from that.
But I think some people might, and I don't.
I think that's hate then.
So whoever receives it that way, I feel as though that's the way. It's not meant for them. Like this is to be meant for people who are lost or was lost in career-wise or life-wise, like I was, that now they see somebody who's living their dream, and to say, he did it, I could do it.
Right.
That's it. I want to be relatable and people to say, this brother is doing it, I can do it. And I think I've had people who've come to me and asked me like, yo, how do I get into this? How do I do this? How do I, how do you do this? How can I, because I have dreams of being that. So, and it gives me an opportunity to give them some game and give them some encouragement and tell them my story and how this wasn't in the cards, really. But I took that step in faith and it's now something I'm working and thriving in.
It's funny because it wasn't in the cards for me.
Yeah.
My man gassed me to do this.
Yeah.
Every day on the phone. When you gonna do it? When you gonna do
Yeah.
it? When you gonna do it?
Yeah.
Yo, and it all came from me, from what I just told you about being somewhere and telling somebody the story.
Yeah.
He's younger than me, so I'm telling him about the ring. So he's like, yo, every time you tell me something, I feel like I'm right there.
Yeah.
Why don't you start X, Y, Z? Never in the cards. But my father always said, yo, I feel like you a leader, but you gotta lead those that may not understand. I never understood that. You know what I mean? But
wow, that's powerful.
But now I do because I'm adopted.
Okay.
I never met my biological parents.
Okay.
I grew up with two great parents though that gave me the world.
Yeah.
But I was angry.
Yeah.
But my anger wasn't towards them, it was towards my parents, and I never understood that. Wow. So while I'm out here streaming, chasing out reality, I got two praying, strong Christian parents at home, just believing. As time progressed, it was like, yeah, you know what I mean? Now I find myself talking to my friends like, yo, bro, it's right to have a relationship with God, you know? You don't have to go to church every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
My man's looking at me like, yo, we just smoked 3 blunts. I said, yeah, but still, I just felt like that was the need to tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, you don't never understand your true calling until I believe you really understand who you are.
Right.
And your journey has brought you to a place where, yo, I feel like talking to you, you in a great space within yourself, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Because I see you fasting now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I see you walking. You always, you know what I mean? With the water thing. I can't fast because of my job. I drive.
Right,
so
right.
I'm fasting in other areas.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? In my life that I see, I'm gonna start fasting because I just feel like it's the thing to do. And you said something too about you're always down to give game. You did that with me when I met you out here. You introduced me to the Wash Dads.
Yeah.
That was fire to me because I literally had just copped the jersey, the hockey jersey,
right.
and ordered it.
Yeah.
And once again, it's alignment. I saw your interview with Malcolm. You at the Hush that day, Malcolm's at the Hush.
Yeah.
It was just things line up.
Right.
And ever since then, like I said, listening to you talk to Malcolm made me say, I ain't bugging. I really can do this shit.
Bro.
I'm in a space. I know I'm in the right space.
Let me tell you about things lining up. And you have to be mature enough to understand when things are lining up. Like when things aren't just a coincidence, when it's supposed to be a message or things about to happen. So about 6 months ago, I was at just a chance meeting. I met a pioneer hip hop rapper, now actor. His manager just started kicking and we started talking, we started building. And, went to this person's show, met him, and like, yo, I would want to work with you on something, right? And I think I might have an idea like of a concept, but I'm not sure if it's it or not. So probably about a month or so, 2 months later, I was in bed sleeping at night. I shot up like the house was on fire, right? 4:30 in the morning, popped up out of bed. And I'm like, I said this phrase to myself, and I'm not gonna say it now because I'll give it away. I said it to myself, and I was like, that's the concept. So, worked on this for about 6 months, and it's finally coming to fruition. The concept that I imagined, the whole play was shot probably about 2 months ago with the artist, with the actor, and it's just got approved for a national commercial. So things align. You got to pay attention, and you got to move in a way where it's intentional. It moves with purpose. And like if you're in a corporate space, you got to also look at it like, who is it serving? Is it self-serving, or is it serving the company? Is it serving the product? So you trust your gut, you trust your dopeness, which I do. I trust my dopeness. I trust my dopeness.
Facts.
But then I also trust that, okay, this is going to help the company. And,
Right.
and those are two things that I go by. Because I don't want to do anything corny.
Facts. Double facts.
Yeah.
I had to really I don't think, in the space that we're in, none of us. Because sometimes I'm like, nah, I ain't it.
Yeah.
And I might be overthinking. Somebody like, nah, that's it. Nah, it ain't it for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yo, it's funny you say you woke up at 4:30, and I feel like the only time we really understand or be able to lock in is when we not clouded.
Mm-hmm.
When our minds are not clouded. And my dad said, yo, learn to sit to yourself and be at peace. And he said, yo, I find if you do that 15 minutes a day, you're gonna learn some of the greatest things you never thought you could learn.
Yeah.
Sit still, he said, because that's when the Lord is really ministering to you when you're sitting still.
Yeah.
The distractions sometimes take you away from what you're supposed to hear.
Yeah.
And I noticed that when I bumped into the interview you and Malcolm had, I was sitting still.
Yeah.
And during the day, I'm never really sitting still.
Yeah.
But I was literally sitting still, and I had the phone like this, and I watched. And then I went to your page, and I went to his page. Just in 10 minutes, I had that moment, and it's something like, yo, I gotta lock in. So for you to have those moments, it just like, I realized that when you listen to people, other people's testimony is what you're being told.
Bro, you know what's amazing about what you just said? The fact that that first interview with Malcolm, that was my first interview. That was a test to see if because I got something just came over me, said like, let's try this. Like, I want to talk to people. I want to talk to people about their journey, how they use social media, how they use it to promote their brand. Like, what's their thoughts about, all this type of stuff, and then tie it into some motivational stuff for the masses. Did that on Malcolm's camera. We had no audio feed. Like, I have nothing, no lighting. We didn't have anything. And for it to hear that it penetrated like somebody's spirit, to motivate them, and to like it resonated with you without having any bells or whistles, that's when you know it's purposeful. To me, like the audio sounded terrible on that, like terrible, but still the message still got through, and it affected not only you. There's other people who said they loved that one as well.
And that's, once again, it goes back to the raw moments.
Yeah.
That was a raw moment. And I saw it. I can't say that, when I looked at it, like, the qualities, it was none of that for me. It was just more or less, who are they? That's what it was for me.
That's dope.
Immediately, because y'all had both of y'all, who are they?
Yeah, that's dope.
Who's this kid with this clothes? And the way I spoke, bro, it was just with so much elegance and grace.
Yeah.
It wasn't just I've been around a whole bunch of conversations, both of us.
Yeah.
But that conversation for that moment for me, bro, was like, I gotta find them.
Yeah.
And then I met you here.
Yeah. Yeah. Again.
And now I'm sitting here with you, and and I was blessed to have the opportunity to be a part of something that you guys are working on. With the camp, with the team. Let me ask you a question about that. What made you decide to pick the crew of individuals you picked for the Melba media?
So first of all, Malleable.
Sorry.
Yeah, no doubt. That is all. That's all James. So James is the architect of Malleable Media, and he asked me to jump on to kind of be one of the voices of the crew. And I said to him, listen, if we're gonna do this, we need to, it can't just be me. Like,
but you also have a relationship with James, so this is not just some fly. I just need the culture to understand. It's not somebody he just met. This is somebody he has a relationship with.
Yeah, I have a relationship with James because, James has a very bright mind, and his mind is so big on like AI right now.
Yeah.
And the behind the scenes and technical stuff. So when he asked me to join the crew and become like a creator on this platform, I said no doubt, because I felt like this is going to be something big in the future. Like, I saw his vision. So then, one of the things he asked me was like, hey, can we get more people involved? And I said, yeah, let's do it. Let me think about it. And then, I'm looking online and I'm searching around and all this type of stuff. And sometimes the biggest blessings are the ones that are right in front of your face, And I was like, why am I scouring these places to talk and to recruit these people when I got dope individuals right around me? You know what I'm saying? Jetpack Nick, Jobs, who I've known for years. You know what I mean? And with Jobs, he was always looking for an opportunity to get on a bigger platform and to try and work towards something. So I said, let's all just come together. Let's follow the lead of James and what he's building. And we don't really have to do anything different than what we're doing right now. We just share our content. We provide it over to Malleable and, let him work on the back end and watch it grow. And it's growing. Like, to me, for that just to be opened up and there's like close to 300 followers, some people may laugh at that, but I feel that's pretty cool. It's growing.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's a blessing at this point.
Absolutely.
That's how I value the game.
Absolutely. We work harder. We work to build our content and put stuff out that's meaningful to us first.
Right.
And then hopefully those who are in front of us also feel the same way. But yeah, it feels good to be around a crew of people who love to create, love to encourage. And
Thank you.
Yeah, and rock with somebody like James, who's doing some great work.
And I appreciate you guys for even reaching out to me, man, because that was a blessing, And it kind of was. Honestly, I'm gonna say it in the camera. I've been wanting to tell you this, but it was like, this is really dope for me, because like I said, it goes back to me admiring what I first saw. Now I was like, okay, I got a chance to pick. I'm gonna pick his brain.
Yeah.
And I respect my man because he doesn't mind sharing.
Yeah.
And that's something I admire because you got so many people now that's gatekeeping. That's the first thing you said to me. You was like, yo, I don't gatekeep, champ. And I'm like, yo, I respect that. I thank you for that. Because I just see so many opportunities just from watching what you're doing. It's so authentic, it's official, it's real, it's passionate, it's purpose.
Yeah.
And it's also wisdom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a bunch of nonsense, you know what I'm saying? So to be a part of that and kick it with somebody that just gives you that feeling of, okay, I can learn from him. And I appreciate that, yo, man, for just believing in me with that.
Yeah, no doubt,
You know what I'm saying? That's you know what I mean? That's a blessing, man. Yo, listen, man, I got a word game I play with my guests, man.
Uh-oh.
One word, I say one word, you just tell me, you know, in your own personal format what that word means to you.
Okay.
Content.
King. Content is king. Content is a way of connecting you to the audience, a way of promoting thoughts, ideas, brands, and it can be free, right? So that makes it even more powerful. Like, gone are the days of you having, as an individual small business, to pay a big agency or pay for a billboard. I mean, you could do that maybe strategically, but if you are a brand and you want to promote yourself, you can do that for free.
Yeah.
You know, essentially. So it's very, very powerful.
Somebody told me that. He said, yo, my phone is a billboard. I laughed. I said, yo, that's funny, man. He's like, nah, for real. I'm never going to stop. It was a young kid that I bumped into when I was looking at some cameras, and he was in there. And I was like, yo, what you looking at? He just like, yo, content is everything, fam.
It is.
And he was young, but he was so energetic with it.
It is.
And it's like, yo, it's dope how you see the different age groups have the same mentality, yo, when it comes to certain things. So it's not like everything's not a gap. Some things is right lined up if you know what I mean, you do it in a certain manner.
And content, not to interrupt your game, if you walk anywhere around, there's content, right? Like, all of these restaurants, if they didn't want to make any money, they would probably take the name of the restaurant off of the front of their establishment, right? But they have their name up there. They have specials. They have the neon lights. They have all that stuff to attract you into the establishment.
Right.
That's all content.
And it's all advertisement.
It's all advertising.
And a lot of people don't see that way. Mm-hmm. Listen, I got another word.
Yeah.
Lincoln Park.
Complicated relationship. I wouldn't have changed it for the world. I had good and bad, but essentially it made me who I am today, and that's a force to be reckoned with.
I salute that.
Yeah.
I salute that. And my last one is family, because I know you're a family man.
My family
runs deep.
My family is necessary, because if it wasn't for my wife and my 2 children, I would probably be a maniac. They help ground me. They help to humble me, but they also help to encourage me and show that I am deserving of things that come my way. But they you know, like anybody who loves you, whether it's your boys or whatever, they have a way of kind of like not allowing you to stay too high. They humble you, you know? So yeah, my family means a lot to me.
I got one more word for you because I know this is something you love to do.
Uh-oh.
Golf.
Oof. Yeah, golf is a sport that I took up probably about 20 years ago now. Yeah, my father, he retired, and I got him golf lessons for his retirement. Me and my brother chipped in, and I took him with him, and I kind of fell in love with the sport then. You know, and now that my kids are a little bit older now, I have more time to get back out there. So over the last like 4 years or so, I've been out there hitting it pretty good. But yeah, it's a sport that I love because, like I mentioned before, my mind is always going. And now I search out activities that help me to separate.
Smooth it out.
To smooth it out. right? So whether it's walking, running, exercising, reading, golf, like I that's the only way I can shut it off. So like if I'm sitting somewhere, I'm trying to figure something out. It's just how it goes. Yeah, my wife always tells me, you gotta learn to chill, sit still. And I can't, because as soon as I sit still, I start thinking.
So it's like stay busy to keep me going.
Yeah.
So my mind won't take me to this other thing I might try to create.
Yeah.
Listen, you know what it is, the voice of the culture, man. I'm sitting next to a very special brother, my man Tim. My man, it was a pleasure.
Thank you, brother.
It was an honor.
Thank you, brother.
Listen, man, let the culture know where they can find you at. Moon Days, Golden Gems, just let the culture know before we get out of here.
Yeah, you can find me at BRL_gold on IG. Also on IG, It's a Golden Gem, at It's a Golden Gem. That's my other platform on there. Facebook, you can find me at Timothy Sumter, TimothySumter. LinkedIn, if you want to learn more about like what I do professionally, you can find me on LinkedIn at Timothy Sumter, and YouTube, It's a Golden Gem on YouTube. That's some of the longer content that I create, the interviews.
Yo, we in the hush. You know what it is. It's the voice of the culture. Like I said, my sensei's in the building. I appreciate him. Ain't nothing more to talk about, man. Content is knowledge and infinite. Stay blessed. We love y'all. I'm out of here. One.
Peace.
Man.